Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays. This is the Phil that plays, and today we are talking about some Dragon Ball Super card game because it has been a hot second since I put any of that on the channel, and with the new recent ban list for Set 17 Ultimate Squad, I decided, you know what, I'd bring the squad. And today I am joined by two of my best friends and fellow teammates of Team First Turn Games. I got Brent.
Yo.
And Aiden.
Hello.
And, we weren't expecting a ban list today. We were expecting it, a lot of the community was expecting it like next week or a little bit before the next set, as they typically do. So when I was at work and found out the new ban list was up, I immediately went to look at it and immediately saw some because obviously they have pictures of the cards that were affected, and I saw some of those cards and I immediately thought, no fucking way. Like, are you kidding me?
They shit on my deck.
Are you shitting my deck right now?
You're shitting my deck right now.
So before we get into each individual card here, overall, I thought about this all day, and 90% of this ban list is shit. And I'll go over my own opinions. But
I hate it in my bones.
What do you think, Aiden?
I don't read mine. I play red, blue, and red, and green. So I'm okay.
So I guess you weren't entirely affected by this, but me and Brent were affected by this.
There was some cards like kind of made me upset because I didn't think they were a problem. And I like those cards. I do run them in other decks. And they limited those cards or whatnot. And I was like, oh,
and
man.
A lot of the reasoning for limiting and banning certain cards is absolutely ridiculous, and we'll get into that. But first and foremost, I just want to say, everybody, thank you so much for hitting that sub goal that I had. I actually, I'll tell you guys this for the first time, I'm at 112 subscribers.
Hell yeah,
YouTube.
dog!
Congratulations!
It's all about the growth, dog. That's all that matters.
I was at 46 at the beginning of this year, and I'm already got to 112.
Tripled your numbers.
Right?
Nice.
So thank you to everyone who has subscribed and shown me some love. It is really amazing. It's a great feeling to hit a goal you want. And now we're gonna bust that goal with a new one.
I wish Dragon Ball Super had that same mentality.
I'm now trying to get to since I got over 100 subs before the end of the year. Let's go up higher. Let's get to 500. Let's get to 500 by the end of this year.
That'd be rad.
Right? Yeah, if you guys get to 500, we'll dump ice water in the field during the winter.
Sure.
Outside.
Oh, wait, what? No, winter.
Yeah. No, we'll do it.
And this is like Midwest winters we're talking about, so it gets cold.
Yeah.
Actually, he might. Yeah, he might.
We'll see. We'll see if
he has
there's
to be out in shorts and do it in the middle of winter.
I'm down for a fun goal if we get to 500 subs. But let's. Speaking of Midwest bullshit, let's get into the cards that were banned. First off the list here.
No, wait, hold on. Before you read those cards, I got one thing I want to say. Keep in mind, I am a pretty new player. I've only been playing since the beginning of the year. Phil and Aiden got me. Phil mostly. Phil got me into this game. Now, this is Brent speaking, by the way. The thing that I want to point out the most, because I'm saying this, is that the first deck I made and have continued to make has been mono black. Proceed with the bullshit.
Oh, yes. I've been playing since set 1, been every single set. Aiden started about a year or two ago, set 6 or 7. Brent started set 1, gave up after Beerus did demolition things in set 1.
Was it Beerus? I thought it was Goku.
No, it was Beerus, General of Demolition, that I kept playing every single time, and his ability is that you have to, when you play him, you have to get rid of cards in your hand or cards in your energy. No, sorry, it was cards in your hand, and you never had enough cards in hand to get rid of it for his ability, so he would blow up your entire board.
Yeah, I remember. It was it's like the equivalent of Magic the Gathering, where you're just destroy all lands, but those are at least reasonably, there's a reasonable cost, and it's almost never all of your land. It's never all of your opponent's lands. I don't think there's ever been a Magic card. That game's been around for 30 years, and not once did they ever have any bullshit destroy all your opponent's lands for such a cheap cost.
It's such a good card, but
I played that card. The game. It made me cry. I literally said this game is so horribly unbalanced, I'll wait until later. I waited a little too long, unfortunately. Love the game now. Hate what they just did to it.
Yes, we're going to proceed with the bullshit with the first banned card. They banned 4 cards, limited to and errated to. And I hate erratas. I just feel like there needs to be a new set they release that's entirely errated cards, so then we have the new cards.
Yeah. Or at least
with original text.
Maybe they could have like a way to be like, hey, like send us proof that you have these cards and we will mail you like an eroded version of the card.
That'd be neat, actually. I'd be okay with that too. But here's the first banned card, because we're going to proceed with that bullshit. They banned Secret Identity Masked Saiyan.
Mono black.
Yep. A staple. It is one of the 2 main staples of Overrealm cards, because every deck, regardless if it's mono black, will run some type of Overrealm. And, you know, depending on which version you're playing, or even sideboarding this, Secret Identity Black Masked Saiyan was there. It is one of the... It's been like around since set 10, so it's been around for a while. And they just straight up banned it. Not limited it, just banned it. So, first of all, I think this choice is absolute bullshit, and because their reasoning was, since this card's released since set 10, it has remained a staple Overrealm card for decks of all colors.
Staple?
In order to encourage more diverse Overrealm strategies and improve overall player enjoyment, we've decided to ban this card. Translation: everyone played this card, and you probably are going to be releasing some new Overrealm cards, and you want them to try something new.
Or not even necessarily an Overrealm, but like it's because it was just a solid protection card in general. And I guess maybe like I could see an errata like making it only fit a certain color, like if it like had to be black, not just general Overrealm, where that would lend advantage to at least one color. But because I feel like this card was colorless and you could use it in anything, of course everybody's going to use it. It's a good card.
It's a great sideboard piece if you're battling somebody who can create a wide board. So they would play it there, and you can KO up to as many cards as you want, as long as they add it up to 6. Mm-hmm. And so a bunch of 1-drops, cool. Get rid of 6 1-drops. I understand the power behind it. It could absolutely destroy somebody with a wide board, but at the same time, also, I hate that. Like, if you're playing an opponent with a wide board, what kind of defenses do you have? Mm-hmm. And this card was one of them.
Right. What decks right now run wide?
Oh god.
You say a lot of them now are just like 1 or 2 big combo like.
So fun fact: the new Metacoolers, Metacoolers set, coming up.
Metacoolers about to come out. So
that runs like double wide.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Red decks typically run wide boards. It's a card that was great against red, and
which I'm fine with, like it being gone because I run wide.
Yeah,
red.
it's
right.
I just think it was not a good choice. Mm-hmm. This is a card that's solely banned for it being popular.
Right. I mean, honestly, this isn't even like the least of my like least hated things that they did. But so I mean, I guess again because you could play it in every deck. I feel that's the only reason why they banned it. Not just because it's overly used in black, because everything can use it.
Right.
I feel like that was a lot of the reasons for a lot of the bans too. They just wanted more diversity.
Now, I mean, coming from that point, I understand where, like, I mean, so I think I could put it this way, where I can agree with them to a point where you see a card get banned because everybody runs it, right? Yeah. It's like one of those things where you're gonna go, okay, show me Identity Masked Saiyan, and they're gonna be like, Identity Masked Saiyan, and like the thing that you think is gonna happen because everyone can make it happen. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're on the lookout for one card, so it's something that you're gonna expect. You hate what it does. Everybody can do it.
Right, it's just the fact that most people will run this card as a one-of.
Yes.
Just like a secret rare or a special boss monster. Right. And when you're running a 50 to 60 card deck, you can go some games without ever seeing your Overrealm card.
I actually very rarely ever had that happen to me.
And yeah, I mean, like, it's happened to me a lot of times where I've been looking for an Overrealm card, didn't get it, and other times I kept getting it and I really didn't need it. But, you know, that's... like I said, it's one card I feel like did not need to see any banning. It was a very situational card, but I feel like they're setting up with this next group, the next set being mostly squads. Metacooler could absolutely see impact. GT Goku. That's possibly... possibly a lot of color decks going forward will have a wider board, and so this card absolutely fucks with it. Because it's all about squads in the next set, baby.
I'm loving the way this next set looks. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I'm very excited to see. But next up on the list here, this one actually I'm 100% okay with. Piano Reign of Terror. When I first read this, I for some reason thought it was the drum card that they already limited down to 1, and I thought they just banned it straight up. But then I saw the picture and I'm like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. Here's my thing. With my personal experiences playing against King Piccolo, fuck King Piccolo decks. Nothing against anybody who plays them. When a deck can win turn 2, that is insane. That does not need to exist. And King Piccolo did what King Piccolo do, which is win on turn 2, sometimes turn 3. And I absolutely agree with their reasoning behind Piano. It's just that this card allowed him to draw way too much and become way too flexible, and they I guess couldn't figure out if they could just limit it. If they limited it, there was no point in having it as a limit 1, so they just banned it. Because King Piccolo, regardless, has still been... He was gone for a slight bit, but then he came back with a vengeance, and he has been dominating in the top 3.
So I've never actually faced a King Piccolo deck or built one, so I have no idea how it is. I know I played red, but I played a different kind of red.
Right, yeah. It's aggressive as hell. Like the King Vegeta aggressive, it was along those lines.
I didn't even know this was a card.
Which is so funny. I had a full playset of this card in foil, and I had none of it non-foil. I just sent this to my brother, and he literally got it this last weekend, and it's banned.
No.
Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mikey.
At least he didn't pay $50 per card for one of the next ones coming up, only to have it drop down significantly to like $1.75 and now limited.
Oh, yep. So before we get to that one, this one I was actually surprised about. SS3 Gogeta Marvelous Might. Now, what do we think here?
I'm cool with it being banned.
I hate it. I understand it, but I hate it.
Here's the thing. I kind of understand it because for a while this card was not run in Black Gogeta decks. I feel like it was only recently that it started making a comeback, and someone
Xeno Gogeta, baby.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I also have a Gogeta Xeno deck, and it's one of the decks I play just for fun. I feel dirty playing it because it can do so many things for so cheap. And playing this card, absolutely. I played against Brent recently, and this card helped seal the deal for a win. But to ban it outright is... I thought that's a little much. Not limiting it to 1.
Well, so I guess the thing that I see with Marvelous Might is that it's a decent card with amazing utility.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be something to run just one of, I don't think, because it's something that it does so much utility for a Gogeta Xeno deck. I guess when I'm saying that, if you don't know what the ability is it retrieves cards that you use from your warp, and then you put them back into your drop when you play this card down. So with anything Gogeta Xeno is all put cards from drop into warp, and this card recycled cards so hard and so fast that when we get to what the next card is that got limited to 1, it helps the deck be so consistent. It's almost impossible to not have utilities to do the evolve skill on the next black card not the next one that you talk about, but a future black card that I will mention. You'll know when I start throwing up, that's when we've hit the card.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's really cool, but I feel like it's not good enough that it should have been banned. I think it would have been fine as a limit 1, because think of it, yellow has almost 10 limited 1 cards at this point.
Well, that's my thing, is like limiting it to 1. Like I said, it's not necessarily a card that, like, yes, it has 1 game, but a game I feel like in the right scenario, where now it's just doesn't matter the scenario. It's, oh, I evolved, these went to the drop pile, let me play this, go ahead and just put them right back into my drop, and now I've got fodder for, oh, here's another one. I can just, it helps the deck too much, but not enough that if you only do it once, you're gonna be like, I guess.
Aiden, what do you think?
I've never actually played it. I'm too broke to. So I never actually played some of these. I played budget stuff. So, but I can see it. I'm fine with it being, because I did play you Tuesday, and you did win with this card against me too. Yeah.
So I beat both of you with that card. Okay.
I mean, I can see it being banned.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's also the card I won with when I played you. And what deck was that you ran? It was Goku Lineage.
Goku's Lineage deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you.
That was fun, but that was with a Marvelous Might.
You done hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so the final banned card they released, and this is probably the biggest thing on the ban, like of the 4 cards. SS4 Bardock fighting against Fate. A long time, and even say in their reasoning, this has been a staple in the Overrealm scene since its inception as a promo, and it absolutely deserves it. 25k dual attack.
Right. Yeah.
You pay for essentially 6 cards in your drop area, so free. It was a game ender for a lot of people, and the reason why, okay, in all honesty, this being banned, I get it. It's a stupidly powerful attacker that can attack twice and can sometimes end the game right there. Why I think this is bullshit that it was banned was because we just got reprints of this card, as well as alternate artwork in the Mythic Booster, which was released just a couple months ago.
Yeah, I literally just pulled one the other day.
Oh, same, literally.
And I just unsleeved it.
Right.
Like I didn't own a copy of this card until I believe early this year when I participated in an online tournament, and this is one of the participation prizes. So I finally got one after like about a year or so, probably, without having one when everyone else did, and got my ass beat by that card. I finally got one, and then Mythic Booster comes out, and we get reprints. And it's such a cool card because this whole point of Mythic Booster, at least in my opinion, is to release cards that were not openly available to a lot of people. So it more or less evened the playing field by having like everyone have a lot of the same really big, powerful cards. And then what they do is they shit on that by banning and limiting a bunch of the cards that were reprinted in Mythic Booster. It makes no sense. You could tell they didn't plan on banning this card. I think someone just recently was like, you know what? We want to dial back a little bit of the aggression here, and we're just gonna, ban it.
I feel like this was fine. I didn't need banning at all. There's no barrier. You can easily deal with it if you have like the resources, because it's maybe limited to 1 of per deck,
and that's most people played it.
Yeah,
it's just a 1 of.
Yeah, but that's all you need is 1. Like, I guess so. I would say that if they were going to do anything to be able to fix it to keep it in game, is again the errata would have needed to be limited to a certain color, like Overrealm 6.
Or Black Sand Leader, or
1, like, and then add like a 1 black cost to it. So now it's only when you're playing against whatever color you need to be wary of that 1 card.
Everyone's just gonna.
But then, what color would fit that archetype?
Would benefit that? I mean, the closest would have to be probably mono black.
Yeah.
But But then again, so now they're paying for it.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to keep that energy open. So that's just another way that you can deal with it if you don't have like a straight up counter or a counter play.
Right.
If you have something that can tap down the energy, there's too many ways that you could get around that. But as of now, like while it's banned, again, every color can run it. It does not matter. You're going to have 1 of. Typically, most of the times I've experienced it, it's when they never ever played the card, they beat me first, and then go, I still had a fighting against Fate. And you're like, so you still had another 2 free attacks.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to sub this out with the good old SS3 Sangoku on a mission, which is Overrealm 6 double
Great choice. Great choice.
I mean,
No, yes, it is nice, but the nice thing about it is that dual attack. That's the big thing.
Throw a
where
sensu
you
bean
can
on that?
maybe you can defend against one, but as like a double strike crit,
Right.
maybe they've got a way to deal with one last thing.
Unless you're playing yellow, and then I played against Mike all the time, and Mikey would literally tap down that card, and I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, I just wasted my overwhelm for the turn because yellow's broken.
Yep.
But yeah,
like limit it to a color and maybe add a
Right.
cost to it of like one, or maybe like 2 colorless. I don't know, like something like that would be able to keep the card in the game, but not make it so unmanageable that it's like just
Right.
utterly disgusting for free.
right. I don't understand, because like I said, they obviously were not planning on banning this for a while ago, because they wouldn't have reprinted it in Mythic Booster if they knew they were going to ban it.
And this is the thing I noticed. I noticed they do ban or you write a lot of reprints like a couple months.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they
after
let
the-
you have a little bit of fun with it. They're like, hey guys, remember that really expensive card you wanted? Here it is, like for dirt cheap. And everyone's like, woo! And they go, glad y'all had your fun because it's gone
The
now.
ban hammer
Exactly.
strikes. And we're going to get to that one, but we'll start with the limited card list. There's only 2 of them. And these ones I'm mixed. One I 100% agree with. The other one I kind of agree with. So we'll start with the first one. They limited Piccolo Jr., Descendant of the King. The 2-drop unison that absolutely every red player worth their salt was running 4 of. And absolutely their reasoning behind that is, in their words, since this card's release, it has been the default unison of choice for red decks due to its high power level. This card is universally powerful to the point of shutting out other red unison choices in order to encourage strategies based on a new card types and improved overall player enjoyment, we've decided to limit this card. Now, I 100% agree this card needed to get hit. I don't think it should have been limited. I think this should have been outright banned. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the community that also agree with the fact that this card literally shuts down defensive decks. Which, I mean, to be fair, aggro needs to. But also, aggro's so fast, it doesn't need something like this. They can play multiple cards on a single turn to really deal damage. This was just overkill. The fact that its auto was not limited once per turn, but it was any time an opponent were to play a counter, this completely shit on blue decks, and to a certain extent yellow. And like anything with defense, because blue's whole thing is defense, untap energy. Yellow is defense, tap down opponent's cards. But the fact that this card would punish them for doing it, that'd be any counter attack, counter play, counter, any of that. And it was not just once per turn, absolutely broken. And I think one of is good, is a good step. But I think this card really should have been banned. What do you think, Aiden?
As a red player myself, I feel like this card, it's limited to 1 right now, and I feel it's okay, but I agree with you. I feel like it could be banned. Or maybe errata to maybe like once per turn for the auto.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's fine with that. If you errata to like the auto just once per turn.
I would also accept that.
Yeah, because it does help a lot of red cards that suffer from not drawing enough, like Cooler Mill. Like that one needs drawn. A lot of Cooler Mill decks run this one, just because you get the extra draw power.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think, Brent?
So especially for red, like you said, red is very aggressive, and for the fact that it adds so much defense to an aggro deck is disgusting.
And the draw 1 too, like that is absolutely insane. The fact that like, for example, the blue unison that can do like the draw 1. That costs 3 to play, and it's a 15k. This costs 2 to play, and it's 15k. Plus that's the draw 1. Yeah, sure. It's a +2 for baby unison, but that.
But it's the full package. It's only 2. It's 15k, so you can get in a pretty good beat with it already. You could definitely deal some damage with it. It automatically counters your other like even if in an attempt to take you down or even deal some damage on a turn, every single time they counter, they remove a card with what? Like it's gross. It hurts me inside, and so now it's pretty strong for pretty cheap with a really good auto skill that triggers multiple times. You get to draw cards too. And because you're playing at turn 2, it's coming in with minimum 2 counters, so you gotta hit it twice, but immediately gotta hit it 3 times. What's that? They had another one, so there's a 4th under it. Good luck getting rid of that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Like that card 100%. That card 100% needed to get some type of hit, and I wish it gotten banned, but we'll see how it works with just being a limit 1.
I think a lot of people are going to end up being like, draw 6, didn't get Piccolo Jr.
Right.
Shuffle all 6, redraw 6.
100%. 100%. And now this one hurts Brent the most. They limited SS3 Gogeta thwarting the Dark Empire. Oh god, it's all over the carpet.
Oh, gonna be.
You took that BK you had.
Why didn't you put it in the bag?
I missed.
But as you can tell, this makes Brent absolutely sick. And as somebody who Brent spent back before they even announced this card was being reprinted in Mythic Booster, Brent spent a small fortune to get a full playset.
I didn't get a playset, unfortunately. I got 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had bought 2 back when they were at the height of their madness, when they were first keep in mind, only in tournament packs. It was only a promotion card that had just come out. So understandably, yes, they're super good. They were like $70. I found some for a couple less than I think sub $60, and I was like, dope. Grabbed a couple of those dudes, and then they reprinted them, as Phil said, in the Mythic Booster, and that price I paid, which again was this was not long after I bought them. It was pretty quick, so it was the value just tanked so hard. And now they limit my $130 purchase to 1.
Yeah, now that's... See, here's the thing. I felt dirty playing Gogeta Zeno.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just felt like it just felt wrong to play this kind of deck, because the fact you could play that turn 1, a 25k double strike with on swing warps a card, and that...
Yep.
Yeah, it was unique, so you can only play one at a time, thank God.
Yep.
It was disgusting, and it was the staple for black decks for a while. This is even when Vegex was still the top black deck to play. And now with it being limited to 1, I'm glad it wasn't banned.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't banned either, because I like this card.
I feel like people would have absolutely lost their shit if this card had gotten banned. But at the same time, limiting it down to 1, combine this with Marvelous Might being outright banned, Gogeta Zeno is kind of dead as a deck.
Well, so I did put together another build that I showed in one of our chat groups earlier. So what I think is going to happen, but I don't think this Gogeta Zeno is dead for sure, where you rely on thwarting for Dark Empire. I'm really thinking it's going to, at least my main new focus now is rely on SS4 thwarting Dark Empire.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing in more defense. I'm gonna add a couple more ways to actually utilize those 30k Goku and Vegetas, I think, with the EX Evolve for 1.
Yeah.
I think they're solid, but now they're a better choice overall. That's what you almost have to do. I'm swapping out. I know almost everybody played the Time Agent Trunks. I'm actually taking a couple, dropping that back down to 2, because you no longer necessarily need that kind of overrealm control for overrealm 3.
Oh yeah.
To be able to. The card thing was nice, but it was mostly the fact that it was such a small overrealm. I took a couple of those out, and I'm swapping them with SS Trunks thwarting the Dark Empire. So
okay.
I'm thinking what it's going to turn into is now it's almost going to be more of a skillless blitz, much more like traditional Kid Ku was. So I'm going to play my Saiyan Scions. I'm going to go grab a couple skillless guys. I'm going to do my thing, maybe combo with a couple cards on that turn 1, And then I'm also going to play an SS Trunks Overwhelm for 2 in my hand and get another 10k, maybe 15k double strike on that same turn. You could easily be, if you get on like first attack and they are not ready for 1, 2, 3, 5 damage on the first attack, that could be kind of messed up.
Oh yeah, I can see that. And I took this opportunity to rebuild God Trunks, and to be honest, I love the concept of Super Saiyan God Trunks. So that's what I'm going to be working with. I'm still going to obviously main one of these in the deck, but I'm definitely also going to use the SS4 Gogeta thwarting the Dark Empire as well.
I upped my number of copies.
That card is so good.
It is good, but now it's you need to wait until
turn 4 at the very least, and that's at that point you are tapping out turn 4, so you either need to win at that point or like wait till turn 5 so you can have at least one spare. But even then, that's and most people being like, oh, if it gets to turn 4, you're playing the game wrong. No, piss off.
Which is why I think it's going to turn a little more defensive, where that Goku 30k blocker now is actually going to have a reason to EX evolve a Goku on the board.
Right.
There's the 2-drop Overwhelm Vegeta that KOs a card with Barrier that's like a 30k something, I believe.
Right.
Or maybe it was an EX evolve. One of those, but either way. And then I know there's a couple other Vegeta cards that are pretty decent out there too. So this might be solid reason to actually take things slow, play more defensively, add some more counters. We have support of the Dark Empire, right? The homicidal clones of Black.
Yep.
That's an amazing defensive card that Black didn't have access to before. So I feel like we have that opportunity to be a little bit more defensive.
Hopefully, but Red, this next set looks pretty ridiculous with the GT crew. That's what I'm kind of scared about with it being that aggro. It seems like they're trying to take a step back from being super aggro in this set with a lot of these bands, but at the same time, they're also coming out with cards that deck lists that are going to flood the board with easy plays. So it's a very mixed bag. But overall, I am at least happy that I did pull a reprint of this card the other night with the fancier art. So I'm happy to at least have one of those. But rip Gogeta Zeno as a deck. It's not nearly as good anymore.
I just feel like they're trying to prevent the gatekeeping thing where people each deck just plays the same card. Like the new stuff they're trying to push the new stuff, like the new red stuff or the new black stuff.
But this is the new stuff.
Just kind of new. But I don't know.
It got reprinted, okay?
They just want people to buy more cards.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So the next card I'm going to play, I'm not going to do the one you think. I'm going to save that one for last because I got things to say.
Okay.
The one that we're going to do next, though, is actually probably the most surprising hit on this list, just because it's the newest card out of all of these, and that is Android 17 Most Valuable Player. It is a promo tournament card that just came out this last year, just a couple months. I feel like it's only been out, and it was played in one event between its release and this, like maybe one, maybe two events, and already it got errated, and that was a big surprise. And it's a huge card for Invoker.
You need to leave Invoker alone.
The original cost used to be Sparking 5, as long as you have 5 cards in your drop area. Tap 1 red. If your leader card is a red Universe 7, and you send this card from your drop area to your warp, your leader gains Invoker until the end of your next turn. So essentially, tap 1, you get a whole turn to use Invoker abilities, even if your leader is not necessarily Invoker, which is a huge thing. Now, with the new errata, it still has that Sparking 5, but it now costs 3 energy to play, 2 red and 1 blue. And so that means this has to go off at least turn 3 for it to do anything, which before, technically, it could go up turn 1, but at that point, I don't see why. But essentially now, it requires Invoker players to not tap out. They have to have full energy. And if they, like I said, want to go off turn 3, they're leaving themselves wide open for a full turn of being tapped out. It's rough. A lot of Invoker players are not happy. I get it, but at the same time, like, people found that this card was being used in ways that it really wasn't planned on being used.
Right.
It's a weird card, but I get why people are upset. with it being so new and really hasn't had a whole lot of time to shine, and it's already being errata.
Right, like, I mean, well, to be fair, like, when the initial reaction to this card, just even, like, before it was officially released, everyone was losing their minds. Like, we knew this was going to be a good game-changing card from the get-go. The price on this card I've never seen it below, I think, $70, $80 a card. Like,
Damn.
we knew that this was going to be, like, if you're playing Invoker, you're playing this card. If not, you're doing it wrong. Like, this was a game changer. So, and not a game changer necessarily for the better either, just a better way to do a deck that's already a fairly one of the top tier decks that just seems to never go away.
Right, Invoker's solid. Invoker is a great deck. I've played against it. I've lost against it lots of times. But with that last big hit, Catastrophic Blow, being limited down to 1.
I
I thought that was unnecessary too.
Yeah.
So I'm still on that.
I don't think it's unnecessary, but I can understand the argument from both sides. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised that this card got hit so soon, but maybe they'll reverse it. Maybe they'll see how it plays in the next couple events.
I don't think they will. I think all they'll do is just see it no longer being ran. I think people will just end up taking it out. And I also think that maybe it would, like, I'm okay with it being hit, just because, again, we knew this card was busted, but was it hit too hard?
Going from 1 energy to 3 and being 2 different colors required,
I'm cool with there being a red-blue.
Right,
Red,
I was
blue,
thinking
Sparking
1
5.
red, 1 blue, Sparking 5, or maybe even change to, like, Sparking 6.
Right.
Like, just add just a little bit. Does Sparking only come in sets of... No, it doesn't go by multiples of 5, does it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
no, this Sparking 7.
Sparking 6, maybe. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sparking 6, 1 red, 1 blue. It makes them get rid of 1 additional card if they want to do a really busted feature on turn 2.
I think maybe 1 red, 1 blue would have been fine. That was a little overboard. Shout out to Evan Glover, though, who's always been pushing Invoker on everything. Super sorry, man, that this happened to you. And all Invoker players, blue can't have anything nice. And I say that because Invoker does use blue. And which leads me in to the final card on the errata list. And something that I have been saying for years is that if they ever touched this card, I would quit this game. And they're testing me now because they did. Now I got to decide if I want to be a liar or not. They errataed Soul Striker Reborn, the redone original Soul Striker. This one being my favorite leader of all time, just because it's generic goodness. It's a good generic blue leader that does everything that it basically. You take the color blue as a whole in this game. Soul Striker does what blue does best. Resource management resource management. That's really it.
That's why it got hit, though. Is just because it was the blue deck everyone was building.
And
right. Well, it's not that it's the blue deck everyone was just building, though. The way that they limited it, so it's not that not limited.
I don't think it was that.
Yeah, luckily limit to 1 per deck.
Yeah, no, but limited its capabilities, I guess is what I was going for. A pawn, because it's awakened skill. So now it's not just you have to be at 4 life or less. You can't just do it off of. You can't
unison,
cheaply have a unison there.
Yeah, the new errata.
Awaken.
Yeah, the new errata is essentially it removes the secondary awakening ability, which is to have a unison with a specific cost of 3. Now you have to be at 4 or less life in order to awaken him. Which, thinking about it a lot today, I definitely feel like I can work with it. I can manage it, but it takes away a complete playstyle of the deck. Soul Striker, a lot of people would play it as more of a defensive, playing against Soul Striker, you could easily go to turn 5 or 6, maybe even turn 7, because of how defensive the deck can be. It can awaken on turn 3 by playing the Boo Unison, sorry, not Boo Unison, Baby Unison, and now you have to play a little more recklessly. You have to let your opponent attack you, and you have to take life now. And so, to anybody like myself who played a more defensive Soul Striker build, you don't have that option anymore. You have to awake, you have to get your life down. So that's just, to me, I feel like takes away one style of play with this leader, which, I mean, realistically there's two. There's aggro and then there's defensive.
I mean, I still feel like it could be a really good mid-range too.
It's always been a good mid-range deck, and you think about it. When you look at top 10 lists for tournaments, Soul Striker's most of the time in the top 10, even in the top 8. But it doesn't win tournaments. It hasn't won any huge event, and I haven't even heard of any smaller events that it's won. The reason people, complained, and quite frankly, I'll put it bluntly, bitched and complained about this leader, was that it limited, quote unquote, limited design for blue. And I think that's absolute just garbage. I don't think that's a legitimate excuse. I think that's more of an excuse that the designers for Team Blue, which we all know that each color has their own team assigned to developing cards for it. Team Blue doesn't know how to make good archetypes. They don't know how to make a good blue leader. They don't know how to make a good blue archetype. And here's my argument with this. The reason why people played this leader is because it is the best generic blue leader. It can go in a variety of different deck styles, and that was the beauty of it. No two Soul Striker decks could be the absolute same. There was aggro versions, there was defensive versions, there was mid-range versions, and that's why people played it, because it was flexible. When they say, oh, well, we need to get rid of this card because it prevents them from making better blue leaders or blue cards.
Right.
And my thing would be like, why? Why can't they make a decent, like an okay blue leader, but with a great archetype to back it up, which is what they're doing with Gamma 1 and 2 this next set. And I thought that was a great step in the right direction. Maybe they were finally going to release a blue leader that was worth playing besides Soul Striker. And now they hit Soul Striker, and it makes me feel like, okay, now it feels like they're kind of forcing us to go into a different blue leader. And their reasoning was specifically, the generic abilities of this leader card often make it the most viable choice for blue strategies. No shit. To reduce the power level of this leader to align with other blue leaders and limit the card's effect on future card design, we decided to errata this card. Mm-hmm. And how I look at that is, we wanted to make it just as bad as most other blue leaders. So then it's not the most obvious choice.
Right, but I guess because I never played Soul Striker, so I mean, I guess the way I perceive it is more. I mean, you're right. Like, it will no longer be like the main or best choice for blue to go to because it's so generic, but also because, like they said, that it limits them from making other generic good blue stuff. Now, I know you would like to be like like, why not just make like a new archetype based thing that's really good, but that also means that anytime they ever make anything blue generically good, immediately helps Soul Striker. Like, they could never, and if it's ongoing, every time they make something generic for blue, it's going to help Soul Striker now. It's going to help Soul Striker now. So yeah, I mean, there will be archetype cards that are locked in, but anything that's not, every time they're just going to go, it's more fuel for Soul Striker, and and it's only going to get better. So it does limit their design. But now that this is hit, because I guess my question would be to ask you, I know you said that says like different varying ways of like styles of play for this. What unisons do people use to awaken on this? Because it needs to be a 3-drop unison.
Yep. You have the Baby Unison, which is most people play. You have the Raditz Giant Force Unison from Draft Box 3. You have Grand Priest from Realm of the Gods that just came out. You have Tapion from set 14 or 15, who essentially kind of does what Baby Unison does slightly, but not as good, but it just has a higher power, so it's harder to KO. You have like 4 right off the bat that there's a lot of different versions. There's blue yellow gods Soul Striker that uses like a lot of blue yellow Beerus cards that Grand Priest helps out with. You have Raditz Giant Force, which is a more defensive version of the deck because it's a 3-drop blocker with dual attack. You have Baby Unison, which is the generic 3-drop, draw a card, and then it's -5, lets you play a lot of counter cards for no energy just by discarding cards. And then you have Tapion, which is essentially you want to make sure you absolutely have that Unison on board. It's a 19k, so your opponent has to sacrifice at least a card to use it, and it just did what Baby did with the whole tap it to draw 1. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of choices. You have that flexibility of playing a different style of Soul Striker, and now that's useless now. Like,
I wouldn't say it's useless. It's still a really good generic leader.
Oh yeah,
you just can't awaken.
It's still going to be great. Like I don't know. So I think really all it's going to do now is you're actually going to see a change in what unisons they run, because now they're going to go with unisons for utility, not because of their cost.
Fair. I mean,
So then, what are your new options? You're still going to run Boo. Obviously, you're going to have like at least 1 or 2 copies of 4-drop Boo.
Yeah, most people ran 2 Boo unisons, and now a lot of people are saying, "Oh, now you can run all 4 and just screw having the Baby unison."
Which I'm really surprised Boo didn't get hit. I feel like
some people were talking about Boo being hit, and I would be like, "No, that
like
is
limit 1 maybe."
Yeah.
The fact that card can't power itself up, that card only go down from there.
Yeah,
is
but it's so tanky though.
It is.
It's gonna buy you at least like 1 or 2 turns.
Like, it is 100% tanky, but the fact is, once again, it can't buff itself up.
No, and that's not. It's only you're playing on turn 4 though.
But
a turn 4 can't buff up.
It's supposed to provide you like protection for like 1 or 2 turns.
Oh yeah, I mean I've had somebody kill that thing in turn 1, and I'm like, oh cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Like it served its purpose to stall for a bit, but I don't see that card ever being banned. Maybe limited, maybe. Yeah. But I guess my biggest thing with Soul Striker is that I can understand the arguments about limiting design for the future. Mm-hmm. But what does it also say about a game where they're going to errata, or what a lot of people wanted was to straight up ban this leader and the fact that it's not even before the errata, it was not winning, so why hurt it?
Yeah. Well, they made it. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot, and they accidentally made something
absolutely did.
Too good. And the fact that it's a leader is what hurts the most, I think, because of that. Because it's not like you can't just limit it to 1. You can't just errata 1 card that's like, oh, that's not such a big deal, it's just that 1 card, or man, that 1 card sucks. This is a whole leader. It's basically your leader is your deck.
Yeah,
they hurt your leader, they hurt the whole deck.
I think this absolutely should have been, maybe if they were to do errata anything, maybe instead of 2 energy being untapped at when he attacks, untap 1. Leave his secondary awakening tech in there, but let's reduce the amount of energy that he untaps, because then he'd be on par with the SS God Goku that from set 16 that people are saying, oh, now you can go play set 16 God Goku. I'm like, it's not the same. That leader is definitely meant to be more aggro, and it's actually been in a lot of aggro decks, which are really cool. I've built them. They are fun, but that's a different play style. I liked this play style and what this leader offered.
Are there any 2-drop unisons that now become more useful because of utility?
The hit unison from set 15 was really solid. Remember, it does let you draw a card still off, but then
I ran U6 Soul Striker, and that was pretty nice.
Yeah, and actually, that might be something to look into with
because
the 2-drop hit.
You're not limited to just 3-drop unisons now, so that's not all you're looking at. There's a bunch of other things.
When I played Soul Striker, I've never used a 3-drop unison, so I was too broke to afford it. So I'm fine with it being what it is. It still does its job from like my experience. Because I played Janemba before Janemba got hit. I played Janemba. Soul Striker. I love that. Janemba needs to be unbanned.
Yeah, the whole limit 1 for that Janemba card is absolutely ridiculous. Unrotted.
Because you have to play like a 2-drop skillless for it to even 2 or 3 drop.
Right.
To go into that. And it was fine. Like it was aggro, yeah, but it could be dealt with because
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. And this is probably just me still being aggravated and venting the fact that, like, my favorite leader in this game got hit after they banned the other favorite leader I had that I won my first tournament with, SS3 Goku, the original one, which, to be fair, I get it. It
So that one
absolutely
was
was
OP.
busted. That card 100% was busted.
And
there are
that's
still
why we play it.
and the fact that there are other good blue leaders. There are tolerable ones. There's SS4 Vegeta, but that one you have to play a ramp style, and if you don't hit the first attack or two, then there's no point of even continuing, because that deck has to ramp. It absolutely has to. SS3 Reboot, solid. Obviously not as good as the original. You are limited to only 6 energy, which it untaps 3 blue energy at the end of turn, so you can't play monocolor energy. It has to be mono blue energy. So once again, limiting in that factor. SS2, Super Saiyan Kaba for blue was okay for a while. It was neat, but yeah, it's not great.
Hey, no, I love it. Fuck you guys. I feel like it does its job.
Blue Bojack is coming back just because now it can play Galactic Buster, which they took that away from blue also.
I thought that was
But like it's a mid-range deck.
Right.
It's a rogue deck. It's very weird to play.
I loved it.
Yeah, like it was a blue Bojack or oh, I didn't know you played blue Bojack.
Yeah, I have the foil, the core all in foil, and
Ooh.
well, it was because I literally just built it. I got to play it twice, and then they banned the Arrival Bojack.
Yep.
Made it like basically not worth playing.
Right, I feel you there.
Well, I just feel like they have troubles balancing blue. Like I feel like if they make a good blue card, it's just really good. Right?
People say blue's one of the best colors in the game. I'm like, if you look at the tournament winnings, it's really not. But I get blue has a lot of versatility, and that's why I think one of the reasons I love playing it so much. But it has a lot of versatility. Then in the end, doesn't really do anything.
It has a lot of potential to
Energy.
untap all.
Yeah, I was gonna say energy
Like,
manipulation is valuable.
If they don't have like the cards
yeah.
limited or banned that they do, we'd be seeing some wild plays. They'd be like turn 4 play some stupid 8-drop from from some garbage that they don't meet the requirements for, but have enough energy to cast like an overwhelm card. Could you imagine like overwhelming a fighting against fate and then hard casting a fighting against fate?
That would be sick.
And then untapping energy, play something else.
And then bean fighting against fate.
Jesus Christ. That's another thing. If people had their way, blue would probably be in the same spot as green, which is unplayable, essentially.
I don't know. You guys
people
play against
want
my green decks.
Well, people want to ban Bean. Some people want to ban Dimension Magic. Some people just want to outright ban Soul Striker.
They printed so many silver bullets in blue, though. I feel like it should have been
100%. How many other cards have you can play? They're like, hey, if your opponent untaps an energy, they have to drop a card, or they have to terminate one of their energy.
I'm okay if they limit Bean to 1. Like
I'm
okay with you keeping your opinions to
yourself. Bean needs to stand for him.
In terms of being, I would say being fair. If anything's gonna happen to Bean, limit 1. And I guess my reasoning is because and I've seen it played either against me, for me, by other people. They're like, play your Cooler Mill. You're like,
no.
because you draw a bunch of cards and then you hoard beans in your hands forever. It's super defensive. A, B, you get to untap 2. It untaps its own energy and another energy, and then it's never just 1. It's Bean, untap 2, do something with one of it. Bean, untap 2, do 2 more, and you're like, okay, just stop.
I'd be okay if Bean was more if it was only played defensively.
Yeah,
that would be. I would be 100% okay with that, to be honest. This is my blue player since start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Oh, like a counter?
Well, it's more like it can only be played during your it has the ability if it's your opponent's turn, give a card 5k and untap 2 energy. Like,
I could see that, but yeah, because like doing that on activate main sometimes just opens up
Oh, yeah.
too many shenanigans.
Oh yeah, especially like with fighting against Fate, people would drop a bean on that, and guess what? Now it's a 30k
Right.
dual attack.
Yeah.
I am happy though that you're with the E-Router for your leader, because Cooler Mill, I'm just not gonna hit you. I'm just gonna mill you.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, see, I need other options. A lot of cards nowadays have other options for awakening. Hell, Trunks, God Trunks, I can literally awaken with 8 life. And I have done it before. All you need is 5 Saiyans in your warp. Guess what? I can do that possibly turn 1. That's the bullshit behind it. So why is it this leader doesn't get its alternate awaken cost when other cards can?
It's just a balancing thing. If they add anything to it, it's gonna be too good.
Because of the energy
Right,
untap.
yeah.
Because it just is it's a draw 1, so it's card advantage, but then untap 2, it's its own beam.
Right.
Someone told me I need to do the big brain move and play Results of Training. If they keep me if they keep me above 5 life.
Watch them
So
ban that.
Results of Training is a set 1 card that it's a blue card. It costs 5 energy to play, but it says if during your turn, if you have more than 4, if you have more than 5 life, awaken your leader.
Yeah,
And that was a big thing for blue, because blue used to be super defensive in set 1, and you would just ramp up to 5 energy on like turn 3 and be like, cool, Results of Training, I'm at 8 life right now, or 7 life, cool, my leader is awakened.
Cool.
So if someone was like, bring that shit back, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
That might not be a bad sideboard tech for blue now, because there are certain decks that absolutely will not want to attack me, like mill decks, for example. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to get... I feel like I'm going to feel better about this maybe with some time, but right now it is a very fresh wound that hurts, and now Bandai's testing me. You know, do I want to quit this game or not? We'll have to see how the meta goes.
If you quit, I call dibs on your cards.
Oh, fuck off. I think Mikey might try to fight you on that.
We can split the Mikey.
But wrap this video up before we end things, I feel like a lot of people had cards they wanted to ban. And once again, yellow... Oh, sorry, before I even say anything. Green did not see a single card on this ban, limit, or errata list, because let's face it here, Green's on life support.
Yes.
They didn't need anything being banned because they need every good thing they can get with the next
hand destruction.
with Cooler, with Cell being completely banned. Green kind of lost its only viable leader. There are certain other like rogue decks that are fun, but just not as good. Cell was fun. But new Cell might stir up things.
It looks good. The new Cell stuff looks really cool.
Yeah, but Green obviously didn't see anything. Yellow didn't get hit again, and a lot of people are pretty mad about that because, let's face it, Bandai's got a hard-on and a complete boner for Yellow, and it's the favorite color. It gets all the support. It gets... No cards get banned from Yellow. It's all limit 1s. There's so many limit 1s in Yellow. You could play EDH with the damn deck. But a lot of people including myself, wanted Poutine to be banned because that card is an absolute nightmare, and there were people trying to defend it, saying Poutine's not a bad card to get around. It's so easy. I'm like, excuse you, sir. It's a free play with barrier, and I'm pretty sure deflect, and it has a once per turn, whatever card your opponent plays automatically gets tapped down. Combine that with other yellow stuff that taps down your opponent's cards, your opponent can be tapping down 3 to 4 cards a turn, and that's why Poutine needs to get banned and never show her stupid face again.
Right, like, you know, as a newer player, the only other color I started collecting is yellow. If I have every yellow staple, I'm ready to build something. But I have literally not come across anything other than Sin that is even remotely worth playing in yellow, because, like, yellow, yes, taps down all the things, but does nothing else really good. So please don't touch my yellow cards.
See, I will fight you on that. Yellow taps stuff down.
They did take away power of a Super Saiyan.
They limited it.
They did, and that alone is like, you get one good one. You're like, this is the one. Before, it was just relentless power of a Super Saiyan.
Or
do some of that power of a Super Saiyan.
Oh no, yeah, I agree, 100%. But they've got other good cards like Vegeta's Final Flash, a card that blanks an opponent's battle card during its activate battle, gives your card plus 15k power, and I think it blanks 2 cards.
Two?
I
know
think
for
it
sure
blanks
one,
2
but-
cards.
No, I think it's just
Maybe
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, the fact that it buffs up, plus it removes the abilities on one of my cards while it is attacking, is just absolutely insane. You have Black Kamehameha for 1 energy, taps down 2 of my opponent's battle cards. Combine that with Poutine because all it needs is a trigger,
Right.
and then you have Bergamo, which is also limited to 1, which on play taps down more cards. Then you have certain like cards like Mecha Frieza Robotic Riposte that is the Topo-esque negate attack card for yellow, but it's also the one that costs the least amount to play. It can be played for 1 energy, and it does everything differently. It makes your opponent have to tap something down in order to attack, which none of the other cards of that style do. So I could have a board of like 5 attackers, and I only have 2 energy open, and then he plays that. I have a fat hand. I would rather pitch my hand in order to attack, but I can't, and it's the only one that does that. So yellow does way more than tap cards. It plays stuff for free, for cheaper, way cheaper than it should be. It blanks your opponent's battle cards. It taps down stuff, like we said. It draws cards. It plays really big boss monsters for fairly cheap, and it's one of the it has one of the best counters in the game. With Metacooler. Well, sorry, not with Metacooler, just Cooler. And it just has a lot of cards that if you play your cards right, which, I mean, we get it, it's a card game, but like, if you have the right cards in hand, you could tap down your opponent's entire board and leave them on a card, and on a turn they were about to go in for the kill, they are now screwed for a whole turn. Even when they get back their turn, some cards like stay blanked or tapped down until the end of your opponent's next turn. Yellow just does too much.
I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe it's just the decks that you've specifically played against, or like in yellow, because that's I guess the key thing here is that like yellow is really only good in a couple decks. Otherwise, yellow needs to be mixed with another color to support it. Is really like the like almost anything that you're going to see is going to be yellow blue, or yellow green. Like mono yellow has
It's gonna be basically Sin Shenron.
You got Sin Shenron, you got Trunks and Vegeta, you got Super Saiyan Gotenks for a bit.
Trunks Vegeta, isn't that blue yellow, or is that?
Nope, that's just yellow.
I think that's just yellow.
That's yellow. The new Zamasu Wish Leader, most people are playing it in a mono yellow format with a splash of blue.
I don't know. I see. I've only heard of like
Some people are just straight up playing that.
Sin Shenron and the Trunks leader. Now I have not seen.
Well, I'm just talking about like mono yellow leaders, mono yellow decks.
But like anything really relevant though, like Sin Shenron's really if you're trying to play competitive, Sin's the only one really worth playing.
Right.
Other ones are like, yeah, they do stuff, but
Golden Frieza from set 1 is making a comeback.
It does stuff, but it doesn't do much stuff as like Sin Shenron. Like that's the deck that people play. It's the same thing with like Soul Striker. People are gonna play that Sin Shenron over any other yellow deck. They're gonna play yellow.
Fair.
right. That's again, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It'll tap all the things down. The other problem I kept constantly coming across is more and more of the cards that are gonna go for the throat all have barrier.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yellow has so many cards with barrier and deflect.
It do, but I'm talking about on their defensive step. Like you said, you're going in for the kill on like some turn, right? The best they're gonna do is tap down your board. There's very few, like there's a few cards that get around barrier in yellow. Otherwise, you're like, Power of a Super. Does that get around? Does that get around? I don't think
I don't know,
around
because
barrier.
I think Final Flash was the one.
Yeah, Final Flash
because it blanks a card.
But otherwise,
barrier,
Black Kamehameha doesn't get around barrier. Power of Super Saiyan doesn't get around barrier.
Well, I'm talking about
Giant Ball doesn't get around barrier.
Yellow, because how many other cards, how many other colors utilize barrier to the extent that yellow does? Yellow playing against blue, blue's is gone. Blue has a lot of really cool cards you can play for fairly cheap, but they don't have any protection, so blue's out. Green, green's out. Red cards don't really have barrier because their whole thing is just swarming the board with little dudes who deal a lot. You have black, all the Gogeta cards. None of them have barrier except Marvelous Might, and now Marvelous Might is gone.
Yeah, true.
So when you look at it as other colors, yellow just has too many things going for it that other colors don't have.
Right.
Other colors are really good at one thing. Yellow is good at a lot of things.
It wears many hats. It really does. I'll agree with that.
See, that's why I think yellow needs to get hit more on these ban lists and errata lists, but they don't. They kind of skipped it last time too.
It almost kind of has the opposite effect of your favorite Goku leader, where the leader is too generic, where yellow itself is too generic. You can mix it with
yellow has too many good generic cards.
Fits.
Yeah, it's too many generic cards. While blues over here be like, oh god, Soul Striker's too good of a generic leader. We can't make too many good generic cards. Yellow is the exact opposite of they have so many good generic cards and a lot of decent or above average leaders.
Right.
Like there's you would think Black Kamehameha would be tied to like maybe a Goku Black or Zamasu. No, it's any card.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, Poutine is just it doesn't require any. I'm pretty sure it doesn't require your leader to be yellow.
Yeah.
But it just taps stuff. You can play for free when you tap something down with a skill.
Actually, it might be yellow. Or maybe I'll check.
Because I know it's a black card, but like it triggers for free when you tap down an opponent's battle card with a skill. So that's why people throw it in yellow.
Right.
Is that just with a skill?
Yeah. So and what other color taps stuff down with skills? Yellow.
Yellow, yeah.
So even though it's a black card, let's be real here, Poutine is a yellow card.
If your leader card is yellow.
Yep. Okay. So there we go. It's just, I know we kind of went on a little bit of a rant there, but yellow it needs to get hit. It needs to, because right now this set, a lot of people are saying this set is pretty much going to be yellow and red.
But how do you hit yellow hard enough that it would make a dent in the way you want without having to go through every yellow card and hit it, ban it, errata it in some way?
That's been the problem, because how many yellow cards have been limited to one?
There's been a few.
There's so many. Let's see, Cold Bloodlust, Power of a Super Saiyan, the Lord Slug that that prevents you from drawing cards. That's not a limit one.
No, I don't think that's.
No, that's not limited one. Hold on.
No, yeah. Which one are you talking about?
The Lord Slug. Remember, that's the one that while it is in rest mode, you cannot draw cards.
What's that?
Here we go. Oh, here we go. Yep. So Bergamo, Ferocious Roar, limited to one.
Yep.
Power of a Super Saiyan, Cold Bloodlust. So those are the main three. Well, those are the three
Heartfelt Plea is the red-yellow one too.
Heartfelt Plea. Oh yeah, Heartfelt Plea, but that really didn't see a whole lot of play in mono yellow.
Well, no, it just comes out with 25k if you scale any 25k, so it could fit.
And then, Slug is coming back in Piccolo, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. And yellow's got banned cards like Mecha Frieza, the leader, obviously. Pan, Great 8 Whisper. Because
Still mad about that, because that's the one I spent a lot of money on.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Bardock, the Progenitor.
That one can be unbanned. That one can be unbanned. That's not bad.
Yeah, that card needs to be unbanned and just limited, so errata to Goku's lineage. Boom, done.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah.
Next card.
That one I'm super mad about too.
Unwavering Solidarity Shugesh.
I'm
oh
super
man,
mad about that.
the memes that man made. And then of course, Bad Ring Laser.
Yeah.
So, I guess at the end of it, yellow needs to get hit more than. But like you said, yellow's hard to hit because they just keep limiting their cards and not banning them. Or whoever's at Team Yellow, come on over to Team Blue. Hell, go over and support Team Green.
Yeah.
Like, give them some support because they need it. Like, red, black, and yellow need to take a break for a set or two.
Give more yellow cards. Counters that get around barrier.
Yeah, exactly. More cards that get around barrier, great. Solves that problem. But I know this probably went on a little longer than we had anticipated. But yeah, this is just a little bit of our thoughts on the new ban list and a little bit of the current meta in general. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, huge goal that was hit just not too long ago. Got over 100 subs. Now we're on the road to 500. So if you want to help out with that goal, want to hit that subscribe button. Throw a like down. Tell us what you thought about the ban list down in the comments down below. Are we crazy? Are we wrong? Are we right? Let us know. What card do you think should be banned or should be limited in the upcoming ban list? Or yeah, just let us know what you think of the current meta. But once again, guys, thank you so much for being here, Brent, Aiden.
It was a pleasure
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
here.
This was fun.
Yeah, my teammates at First Turn Games.
We're the only people that play.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had more, but
Yeah.
they don't come out and hang as much anymore.
New stores.
I've been
open.
trying to teach my my cat and girlfriend to play, but
Your what? I heard cat girlfriend. What?
remember I had pictures of Binks trying to learn the game.
Oh yeah, good man. Binks played hard. He played yellow, that dirty bastard.
He was original U6.
Okay, well, you know what? He I'll give him credit for it. But thank you guys once again for watching, and have a great rest of your night.
Good night.
Peace.